Welcome back to The Explainer. We've got a fantastic breakdown for you today, zeroing in on one of the absolute most exciting moments in global sports, the dawn of a World Cup title defense. We're going straight to the source material from Argentina's final friendly match against Iceland. This is the ultimate tune-up before their highly anticipated World Cup campaign actually kicks off. We're going to break down the tactics, the crazy atmosphere, and the standout performances that really tell the story of a team carrying the weight of the entire world on its shoulders.
Okay, let's dive right into this. How exactly do reigning champions prepare for a title defense? I mean, it's incredibly hard to win a World Cup just once, but to win it back-to-back, that requires a totally unique alchemy of talent, preparation, and managing some truly intense pressure. You have to monitor your veteran superstars, slowly integrate hungry new talent, and somehow recreate the exact magic that won you the trophy in the first place. Let's look at exactly how Argentina attempted to strike that tricky balance.
That brings us to Section 1, a unique southern setting featuring an unprecedented atmosphere at Auburn University. Rather than hitting up a traditional major city hub, the world champions made a totally unprecedented port of call in Alabama, right at the legendary Jordan-Hare Stadium. It was a completely gorgeous evening for soccer, kicked off in a uniquely American, uniquely Southern way. They literally released a live eagle to circle the fans. And all of this happened in front of a staggering 87,000 people. To put that into perspective, that near-capacity sellout crowd had the stadium absolutely shaking. Fans traveled from all over, creating an atmosphere that felt incredibly similar to the passionate, overwhelming scenes we saw over in Qatar 3.5 years ago. It genuinely felt like the entire country of Argentina had just picked up and moved straight to Alabama for the night. Now, navigating that kind of intense pressure requires a really steady hand, which brings us to manager Lionel Scaloni's core philosophy. For him, it's pretty simple. It feels like it's ride or die with the guys that he knows have gone through this before. Remember, Scaloni is the youngest manager to win a World Cup since 1978. But instead of drastically overhauling his squad to keep things fresh, he's leaning heavily into familiarity. Over 2/3 of the squad that went to Qatar is actually still involved right now. He's putting his absolute full trust in the guys who have already proven they can handle the highest level of pressure imaginable.
Moving right along to Section 2, youth shines, as Valentin Barco steps up in the first half.
Because look, while Scaloni deeply trusts his veterans, you still need young legs to make a crucial impression. The coaching staff is meticulously monitoring the minutes of their established superstars, including, a certain number 10 starting on the bench. So the stage was perfectly set for the younger guys to prove they belong on this elite roster. And honestly, on paper, this matchup was the perfect proving ground. You have Argentina's reigning world champion pedigree stacked up against Iceland, a team whose historical record includes only ever beating 2 South American teams in their entire history, Bolivia and Venezuela. What's also super fascinating here is that this friendly was actually Argentina's very first matchup against a European opponent since they defeated France in that unforgettable 2022 final.
The young talent immediately capitalized on that mismatch to open the scoring, and this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about. It all kicked off with some incredibly poor defending from Iceland, who were just repeatedly failing to clear their lines right from the top of the 18-yard box. That defensive chaos set up a snapshot driven right through a thick crowd of bodies, allowing young Valentin Barco to deliver an instinctive, low, left-footed finish. The Icelandic goalkeeper saw it way too late, and just like that, Argentina was up 1-0.
But, well, it wasn't exactly smooth sailing from there. Let's transition to Section 3, sloppy play and physicality, looking at the messy middle of the match.
So after a pretty strong first 20 minutes from Argentina, the rhythm of the game just completely fractured. The match totally devolved into a highly physical, chaotic, and frankly forgettable stretch of soccer that dragged well into the second half. We saw some super uncharacteristic missed tap-ins, most notably a massive miss by Alexis McAllister from point-blank range right after a brilliant setup. We also saw a crazy high turnover rate from Iceland, mostly because of really poor distribution out of the back, and the physicality just spiked everywhere. Valentin Barco actually decided to prove he could handle the rough play with a reckless 2-footed challenge. Combine all of this with a very strict referee who had a really low bar for fouls, and you get a rapidly rising yellow card count. For a brief, strange moment, the defending champions actually looked a bit vulnerable.
Which brings us to the absolute most electrifying moment of the night. Section 4, enter Lionel Messi, the true turning point of the game. Literally just when the match was getting totally bogged down in fouls and frustration, Scaloni made the substitution the entire 87,000-seat stadium was waiting for. This substitution marked Lionel Messi's 199th cap for Argentina. 199. That massive number represents decades of pure excellence. His mere presence immediately shifted the momentum of the entire game. The veteran superstar stepped on the pitch to stabilize the chaos. The crowd roared right back to life, and the energy in that stadium changed in an absolute millisecond.
The impact was instantaneous. Now, what's really interesting about this is that within a single minute of stepping out there, Messi delivered a devastating through ball right behind the Icelandic defense. It forced their goalkeeper, Olafsson, to come rushing out completely out of control, resulting in a late, sliding challenge on Lautaro Martinez. The ref pointed straight to the spot. Penalty to Argentina. 1 single minute. That is literally all it took for the maestro to crack the defense wide open.
And this sets up a really beautiful piece of sporting irony. Think back to the 2018 World Cup. In a 1-1 draw, Messi famously missed a penalty against Iceland. Fast forward to today, a completely different story. With a slow run-up, patiently waiting to see if the keeper would commit, he ultimately just relied on pure power for a beautifully clinical penalty finish. It was goal number 17 for the number 10, slotted home with absolute ease.
With the momentum fully reclaimed, we arrive at Section 5, sealing the victory, as the Icelandic defense absolutely melts. This right here is where we get to witness the overwhelming technical ability of this Argentine squad when they are firing on all cylinders and just put a game entirely out of reach. So the crucial point is exactly how this passing sequence worked for the third goal. Rodrigo de Paul makes a really smart decision to continue his run right behind the defense. Messi, acting as the ultimate orchestrator, provides the absolute perfect layoff pass into the middle. Meanwhile, Lautaro Martinez intentionally drifts to the far post. Why? To pull defenders away and create some much-needed space. And finally, Thiago Almada steps right into that newly created space for an incredibly easy tap-in finish. It was just a beautiful, devastating sequence where the Icelandic defense completely melted away.
Final score, Argentina 3, Iceland 0. Despite that messy, chaotic middle section of the match, it ultimately ended up being a very comfortable victory. The team got absolutely everything they needed out of this tune-up. The young players like Barco and Almada got on the score sheet, the veterans got their legs moving, and most importantly, nobody got seriously hurt. It stands as the absolute perfect preparation as a team packs